Voting live. Hi, I'm Megha Sharma and you're watching Newsx. I'm here in Geneva to participate in the 151st Assembly of the Interparliamentary Union. Joining me on this special show from Geneva is the Secretary General of the Interparliamentary Union, Mr. Martin Chungong. Thank you very much for speaking to me on Newsx.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure.
I want to ask the first question about the theme of this year's IPU Assembly. We are talking about upholding humanitarian norms. We're talking about supporting humanitarian action in times of crisis and conflict. Why has this been a prime agenda for the IPU?
Yeah, I think that we're all aware of what is happening in the world today. There is a multiplicity of conflicts. I think it has been estimated that there are some 120 conflicts taking place in the world today. And one of the major casualties of these conflicts is humanitarian law. There's flagrant violation of humanitarian norms. Nobody or the belligerents don't respect humanitarian law anymore. There is no access to humanitarian assistance for those who are in dire need of this. So in light of this, the IPU, the Global Organization of Parliaments, I must mention, with its 183 member parliaments, have decided that maybe we should focus on humanitarian action by parliaments to, first of all, restore respect for those norms that have been adopted over the years. In fact, I must point out that we are in the city of humanitarian law, Geneva. International humanitarian law originated from Geneva. And so it's only fitting for us to go back to this and see what parliaments can do in the context of their mandate, the moral mandate that they have to protect the well-being of people in armed conflict in particular, but in all other crises. And that's why you see that during these past few days, delegates have been focusing their attention on what it is that parliaments can do to restore respect for international humanitarian law and also promote humanitarian assistance to those people who are in dire need of it.
I also want to ask you about the close association between IPU and India. We see that the Vice President of the Executive Committee of the Interparliamentary Union is an Indian Member of Parliament, Aparajita Sarangi. What is the potential and future for India and IPU to collaborate?
Well, I must say that India joined the IPU in 1949, and it has been a very strong and dynamic member of this organization. It has been so committed that we have had leadership from India in the IPU. I must say before Mrs. Saranjit that the first ever woman president of the IPU was from India, Najma Heptullah, with whom I had the pleasure of working in the 90s. So India has a track record of strong and productive cooperation with the IPU, and over the years, as Secretary General, I've witnessed India's involvement in different governing structures of this organization, helping us to articulate and elaborate legislative norms that help the IPU orient its work in specific areas related to well-being of humanity. And I think that this is the strong point of India. We also want to note that India is, well, the largest democracy in the world, 1.2 billion, 1.3 billion.
Yes.
And there's no way you can do without India when it comes to democracy. We have seen its track record in terms of organizing elections that are generally seen to be legitimate. And I think that we can borrow a leaf from what India is doing. And that is why today we are relying a lot on ongoing cooperation from India. We have Mrs. Sarangi, of course, sitting in the executive committee, providing leadership to the IPU. We also want India to also take up and go back to its very good practice of hosting IPU events in India so that in the process, the global parliamentary community can witness firsthand developments that have taken place in India and also learn from the Indian experience. So, yes, we hold out much hope in our relations with India.
Yeah. You have done extensive work on strengthening democracy. You've spoken about India being the largest democracy in the world. Why must the world unite in propelling the cause of democracies?
Yeah. Democracy, I must say, is a work in progress. And we cannot take progress in the area of democracy for granted. It is something that we need to work on all the time. Otherwise, we'll fall into complacency and we can roll back progress that has been achieved in upholding those values that are inherent in democracy: human rights, inclusive governance, freedom of expression, freedom of assembly. All of that we need to protect. And that is why we want the IPU to continue to trailblaze in this area, to uphold those norms, but also to encourage our members to acquire capacity and knowledge in area of democracy. And again, as I say, we cannot do this without borrowing a leaf from the Indian experience, given your long-standing association with democracy and the size of your country. So I think at this particular stage, when we see pushback, and I go back to those challenges to democracy, we see pushback on women's rights. You know, things that we have taken for granted. The progress that has been made is threatened with being unraveled because of a number of obstacles. And so we want to use democracy to push back on this pushback that we're witnessing. And the beauty about democracy is that it is resilient, it is self-adjusting. You know, when we realize that there's something wrong with democracy, the institutions and policies, values come together and we take stock, and it's possible then to improve and chart a new course for democracy. So I am very, very confident that democracy will continue to prevail.
Thank you very much, Secretary General, for talking to me on Newsx.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and I look forward to many more such interviews so that we can explain the work that the IPU is doing as the global organization of parliaments, the global convener of parliaments around issues that are very critical to the well-being of humanity. We want the IPU to be relevant, to continue to be relevant, because it is already. It's helping parliaments articulate the interests of the people, fulfilling their aspirations, and we want to continue to do this work with the support of our membership on the basis of norms that are universally accepted, and those norms are embodied in democracy, in human rights, and of course, when we talk about humanitarian action, I think this is a crucial aspect of the work of the IPU, and we'll continue to prosecute this agenda with the support of our member parliaments.
Thank you very much. I really look forward to speaking to you, having further interactions with you, and hopefully hosting you in India very soon.
I'm looking forward to my next trip to India. I think we're going to be discussing something that is very interesting. Yeah. I think the developments in new technology, right, and how parliaments can be ahead of the curve and promote credible and responsible governance of these new technologies, because we want things like artificial intelligence to be beneficial to mankind, but it also holds potential for annihilating the progress that we have made as a human community. So parliaments have it within their powers to legislate for responsible use of artificial intelligence, ethical use of artificial intelligence for the benefit of mankind. That's what we're pushing our members to do. And I think that we are gaining traction in this particular area. So we're looking forward to those discussions in India. You can count on us for our contribution to the deliberations.
Secretary General, you're doing an excellent job. Congratulations on that. It has been a pleasure being hosted by you here at the IPU.
Thank you. It goes to my heart. It is done out of a sense of duty. I think we're invested with a mandate by the global parliamentary community to lift this organization to much higher heights. And we can only do that if we're tuned to the people, we're listening to their concerns and interests, and seeing how we can together forge the way forward to address the challenges that we all share in the world today. And we have a set of common values, I've said, about democracy that we can build on to strengthen the hand of the IPU as the global parliamentary body, but also individual parliaments that are participating in the work of the organization.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hello and welcome to this very special episode of The Focal Length.